What's going on, guys? Porter here. Today we're going to talk about the M16 before it gets nerfed here in a few days for the new season. This gun is absolutely a monster. I love using it. Obviously, it needs, nerfed a little bit, but hopefully they don't nerf it to the ground. Hopefully it'll still be viable and still be an option. After the AUG got its second nerf, I jumped on the M16 immediately, and I know some people are still using the AUG, but I absolutely love the M16. I personally like this one a lot more. I think it shreds. I've had some of my best gameplay with it. So what I'm going to do here, I'm doing a whole different format here. I'm just going to talk about the attachments real quickly and a little bit on how to use the gun. And then in a separate video, I'm going to have gameplay of the M16. And if you guys want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. So basically, I'm just leaving it up to you guys to decide if you want to check it out instead of doing one whole long video. But other than that, if you find this video helpful in any way, hit that like and subscribe button. But let's go and get into the attachments. Alright, let's start with the muzzle here. Agency suppressor is a must. It's going to give you sound suppression. It's going to give you vertical recoil control, which mainly this gun's going to be vertical recoil. So that's an added bonus. And it's going to give you bullet velocity and effective damage range. So that one's a must. As far as barrels here, I think it's between two pretty much. The strike team and the titanium. So the strike team has a hidden stat where it gives you bullet velocity. It doesn't say that, but people have tested it, and it gives you extra bullet velocity as well, and it gives you fire rate, extra fire rate speed. So that's pretty important. So the bullet velocity, that's valued highly in Warzone. That's going to help with where you don't have to lead your shot. Your bullets are going to connect without having to lead. So bullet velocity is very important. But if you want to gear it more towards closer range and mid-range, I think titanium could definitely be a very good way to go, because it's going to increase your fire rate even more. So if you're wanting to build it more towards that, definitely go with the titanium. But if you want more versatility and hit those long shots, strike team's going to be the way to go. With the underbarrel, this one's a given. The field agent foregrip, it's going to help with the horizontal and vertical recoil. So once again, it kicks up, and you want to tame that vertical recoil as much as possible. As far as the optic, go with what you're comfortable with. On the M16, I like the 3 times, but the 2 times really clean too. And honestly, the cleanest one is a SUSAT. Visually, I love the SUSAT, but unfortunately, it adds to your ADS time, so it makes it a little bit slower pulling up your gun, which is unfortunate. But if that doesn't bother you, definitely check that out. It's really clean. As far as ammunition, 45 round mag is definitely plenty, even for trios and quads. So I think that's plenty. If you're thinking about this, the 45 round speed mag, yes, it reloads a little bit faster, but I don't think it reloads fast enough to outweigh the slower ADS speed. I value ADS speed more, so that's why I stick with the 45 round. It doesn't affect your ADS speed at all, and I don't think it reloads that much faster, maybe a few milliseconds or half a second, and I just don't think that's fast enough to outweigh the slower ADS. So I just stick with the regular 45. But if you're doing solos or duos, you could definitely take off the 45 and stick in the standards 30 rounds, and you could add it to a rear grip. The rear grips finally work now, and you could do the serpent wrap and you ADS even faster. So I think that's definitely a viable option to do too in duos and solos. But all right, let's go ahead and move on. So the M16 is an absolute beast at mid-range. That's where it excels the most. It is awesome in that range. But even in the long-range battle, currently the way it is, and with the current attachments that I've shown you, it'll melt at long range as well, especially if you're mounted. If you're mounted, it's pinpoint, and you can take people down 100 meters plus. But other than that, if you can kit it to be a little bit shorter range, kind of like what I've shown you. If you do like the titanium barrel and you do like a 2 times, and instead of doing putting any extra rounds on it, you can put on the grip, and I think it could excel, in the close-ish medium range, that in-between gap, like 20 to 30 meter range. It could really excel if you kitted it that way. But other than that, this thing's an absolute beast. It needs nerfed a little bit, but like I mentioned earlier, hopefully they don't nerf it to the ground. So the M16, I'm going to rate it a 9 out of 10 because I would consider a 10 out of 10 to be absolutely broken, and I don't think it's absolutely broken, but it is overpowered. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10, as well as you got to factor in that since it's a burst, that's not everybody's cup of tea, and it does require a little bit more skill to use a burst weapon than a fully automatic. So I think a 9 out of 10 is a good rating for it, and it does need a little bit of a nerf. But like I mentioned earlier, hopefully they don't nerf it to the ground. But I think a 9 out of 10 is a good rating for it. Alright guys, that sums up the M16 attachment video. Make sure to check out that gameplay video to see how this gun works. But other than that, make sure to port her up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you guys.